You may or may not already know the syntax for if-then statements in JavaScript. If you already know the syntax, this video will give you an idea of when you might use that in actual website code. If you don't already know how to write if-then statements in JavaScript, just follow along and you'll be a pro in no time. I'm going to rename this pen if-then statements in JavaScript. And you'll be able to find it under this name later. I'll put a link in the description. Okay, and just to get started here, let's look only at our JS. So in our JavaScript, we are going to say if. So this is the beginning of an if statement. We start with the keyword if, followed by parentheses. Inside of these parentheses, we will put whatever statement we are evaluating for true or for false. So for example, if you like my videos. Now after that, we're going to put curly braces. And inside the curly braces is whatever we will do if that statement is true. So if you like my videos, you will push the like button. Okay. Now really this is fake code. This isn't going to do anything. This is how you comment out a line here. So I could even comment this out. Because really these random words are not going to evaluate to anything right now. But basically, if you like my videos, push the like button. So this is serious subliminal messages. Okay, so let's replace this so far with actual working code. So we can say if 4 plus 4 equals 8. Now we do a triple equals operator. What that does is it compares the two different sides. So 4 plus 4, is it equal to 8? Otherwise, if we did just like when we're doing variables and you have var likes equals 3, we see here that we have an equals sign, but it has a different function. It's an assignment operator. It's assigning 3 to the variable likes. So we want to do something different. Let's get rid of that variable. Here we want to compare. It's a triple equals. And so we say 4 plus 4, is it equal to 8? And if that's true, then here we will say document.body.inner HTML. So this is going to dictate what the HTML will look like if this is true. And we'll say equals with a single equals because we're going to assign it to that. And we'll say, we'll do a paragraph tag and a closing paragraph tag. And inside of it, we will say it worked. All right, so you see there, we've got our it worked down at the bottom. So that means that 4 plus 4 equals 8. Now if I change this and said it was 4 plus 4 equal to 7, it didn't work. So in that case, we can use what's called an else, and then we can put more curly braces here. Now this is going to say if 4 plus 4 equals 7, put it worked, right, in the document body. Else, so if that's not true, then execute this. So we'll say document.body.inner HTML equals, and we'll do something similar here. It didn't work. And close the p tag. All right, so we see it didn't work. If we change it to 8, it worked. If we change it back to 7, it didn't work. So we can do one other thing to test more complex types of if-then statements. So for example, what if, let's get rid of all of this. And so let's do a little bit more of a real situation. If we're talking about a user, Dustin, and programming languages that Dustin likes. So what we'll do with our code, we'll say, this is called pseudocode. This is, it's not real code, it's just comments, but it's describing what we want our code to do. So we'll do this first, and we'll say, if Dustin likes Python, print Dustin loves programming. Else if Dustin likes JavaScript, print Dustin loves web. Okay. Else, so this is if both of those things end up being false, we'll say else print Dustin is super boring. Okay, now let's go one line at a time. What I'd like to do first is set up some variables saying var Dustin likes Python, and for now we'll set it to false, okay? Var Dustin likes JavaScript. We'll set that to false, even though it's true. Okay. Let me pull this down here. Okay, so if Dustin likes Python, that will look like this. If, parentheses, Dustin likes Python. Now I could say equals true, but if I just say if Dustin likes Python, it basically replaces that variable with false, because that's the value that Dustin likes Python holds. So if Dustin likes Python, that should evaluate to false, because Dustin likes Python holds false. So we'll say, now we're doing the print part, right? So there's where that part of the comment goes there. And we will say, we want to print Dustin loves programming, so we'll do that again. And we're just going to end up copying and pasting this now. So inner HTML equals Dustin loves programming. Okay, end with a semicolon. Okay, so now we've got an else if, and we're evaluating if Dustin likes JavaScript. So we'll say Dustin likes JavaScript. Let's put this down here. Okay, so if Dustin likes JavaScript, we'll copy this document.body.inner.html, and we'll say Dustin loves web. Great. So that's 2 down. You can see still nothing is rendering here at the bottom. So that means that we've got 2 falses if they're not rendering. If I change this to true, Dustin loves programming. If this is true, you'll notice it still just says Dustin loves programming. That's because our if-else statement goes from the top, and it will say if Dustin likes Python, execute this, so print Dustin loves programming, and then it will exit the if-then statement. So it won't check any of the else-if or else statements if one is already true. Okay? So we have if Dustin likes Python, and that's true right now. If I made that false, it would go down to Dustin likes JavaScript, which is now true. So Dustin loves web. And if they're both false, it's going to look a little bit further down. So let's make our else here. And we'll say, okay, here's our else. Oh, wait, I already copied and pasted that. So copy paste, we say else Dustin is super boring. All right. And as you can see, Dustin is super boring because neither of those things were true. Let's get rid of these comments here. So we'll just delete this and see what it looks like at a very basic level. It's not that many lines of code really to figure out what Dustin likes. Okay, so this is all we've got. We've got 2 variables at the top being initialized here as both false. So we're going through, Dustin doesn't like Python, Dustin doesn't like JavaScript. We go to the else, Dustin is super boring. Okay, now I can test another thing here. If I want another else if, let's insert another else if, and we'll have parentheses. Okay. So I can actually combine statements by saying if Dustin likes Python and Dustin likes JavaScript. Okay, and then with this double and sign, that is again an operator that's comparing two different things. So it's comparing, are both of these two sides of the equation, both of the two sides of the and sign, both true? And if so, it will execute this here. That will say, wait, I've got that copy. And that will say, Dustin loves front end and back end. All right. So let's make these both true. Now right off the bat, you're going to notice it still says Dustin loves programming. That's because this first if statement is just checking if Dustin likes Python. And then that exits after it puts Dustin loves programming. It exits the if else statement, and it doesn't check anything else. So we'll never see Dustin loves front end and back end, even though that's true. So we have to be careful. But what we can do is say if Dustin likes Python and, now this is called a bang. It's just an exclamation mark. And I can put that at the beginning of something to, it's basically a not sign, a not operator. So I can say, and if Dustin doesn't like JavaScript. Okay, so right off the bat, we can see down here that it says Dustin loves web. So that means it's evaluating this statement as false. That's because we're evaluating in this first if statement, if Dustin likes Python and doesn't like JavaScript, but Dustin loves programming. That evaluated as false because that's not true. I like both. So we go to the next block, else if Dustin likes JavaScript. And that's still evaluating as true because, well, it is true. Let's do the same thing here and we'll say, and Dustin likes Python. So with the bang again, we're saying if Dustin doesn't like Python. Now we've got an else if again. Okay, so Dustin likes Python and Dustin likes JavaScript. Okay, let's see. For some reason, we're not getting anything here. So, oh, that's because here, Dustin likes Python. Okay. There we go. So now this is evaluating correctly. If Dustin likes Python but doesn't like JavaScript, put Dustin loves programming. Else if Dustin likes JavaScript but doesn't like Python, put Dustin loves web. Else if Dustin likes Python and Dustin likes JavaScript, then put Dustin loves front end and back end. Else, Dustin is super boring. Now I'm going to put the actual part where I'm implementing this in a real website situation in a separate video. That way I'm not taking a ton of your time today, but go ahead and check out that second video and you'll be able to see how I can implement this in a real web situation. So really quick, just hit the like button if you appreciated the video, subscribe so you can follow along in the future, and comment with any questions you have. I'm here all the time. I'm a pretty quick responder. So really, direct messages, comments, I'm totally open to you guys. I just want to be a resource as you're learning, because that was something that I really benefited from when anybody took the time from me as I started. So anyway, appreciate you guys watching and see you in the next video where I really implement this stuff in a real situation.